Generations from now, we will be able to look back and tell our children that this was the moment when we began to provide care for the sick and good jobs to the jobless. This was the moment when the rise of the oceans began to slow and our planet began to heal. This was the moment when we ended a war and secured our nation and restored our image as the last best hope on earth.
Look, I'm at the start of my administration. One nice thing about the situation I find myself in is that I will be held accountable. I've got 4 years.
You're going to know quickly how people feel about what's happening.
That's exactly right. And a year from now, I think people are going to see that we're starting to make some progress, but there's still going to be some pain out there. If I don't have this done in 3 years, then there's going to be a one-term proposition.
We cannot and will not sustain deficits like these without end. Contrary to the prevailing wisdom in Washington these past few years, we cannot simply spend as we please and defer the consequences to the next budget, the next administration, or the next generation. We are paying the price for these deficits right now. In 2008 alone, we paid $250 billion in interest on our debt. 1 in every 10 taxpayer dollars. That is more than 3 times what we spent on education that year, more than 7 times what we spent on VA health care. So if we confront this crisis without also confronting the deficits that help cause it, we risk sinking into another crisis down the road as our interest payments rise, our obligations come due, confidence in our economy erodes, and our children and our grandchildren are unable to pursue their dreams because they're saddled with our debts. And that's why today I'm pledging to cut the deficit we inherited by half by the end of my first term in office. Now, this will not be easy. It will require us to make difficult decisions and face challenges we've long neglected. But I refuse to leave our children with a debt that they cannot repay. And that means taking responsibility right now, in this administration, for getting our spending under control. My administration has a job to do as well. And that job is to get this economy back on its feet. That's my job. And it's a job I gladly accept. I love these folks who helped get us in this mess and then suddenly say, well, this is Obama's economy. That's fine. Give it to me. My job is to solve problems, not to stand on the sidelines and carp and gripe. So I welcome the job. I want the responsibility.
President Obama announced new curbs on offshore drilling.
Just a flashback to 2 years ago. These prices inching up and up.
Fuming mad.
It is the biggest price increase on record.
Gas prices continue to climb. They say these prices are just absolutely ridiculous.
What wouldn't do a thing to lower gas prices is to open up Florida's coastline to offshore drilling.
Almost $5. I mean, this is incredible. And it is putting a drag on the erratic U.S. economic recovery.
If I thought that by drilling offshore we could solve our problem, I'd do it.
People are starting to feel the pain at the pump.
Price of gasoline goes up, the likelihood of any new hiring goes down.
Now the latest scheme is, well, we're going to drill offshore.
Gas is almost at $4 for a gallon of unleaded.
Higher and higher, close to the $5 mark in parts of the country.
But we could save all the oil that they're talking about getting off drilling if everybody was just inflating their tires.
Could we be headed for a new all-time record?
16 billion barrels in Alaska, 2 trillion barrels in shale in the Intermountain West, and 86 billion barrels in the Outer Continental Shelf, all off limits.
We've announced that no permits for drilling new wells will go forward. I will be held accountable. I've got 4 years.
You're going to know quickly how people feel about what's happening.
That's exactly right. And a year from now, I think people are going to see that we're starting